back to Tales of Olympus, the podcast where we dive into the wildest, most dramatic, and sometimes just downright unbelievable stories from Greek mythology. I'm your host, Lycaon, and it's been exactly 1 week since the new semester of school started, and I'll admit, it was quite the transition. Going from reading and lounging around the house every day back to school desk was a big move, but I'm handling it. And tonight we go back to Forks and continuing our last episode. Last time we talked about the Cullens and the Roman origins of the first vampire, Ambrogio. We left off right at the edge of the forest, looking across the line into La Push. Today we're talking about the Quileute Treaty and the ancient Greek curse that started it all. The legend of the first werewolf. Let's get the facts straight. In popular culture, werewolves come from a full moon, but that's not the original myth. The real origin comes from King Lycaon of Arcadia. He tried to trick Zeus into eating a terrible meal to test if he was actually a god, and Zeus was not impressed. He destroyed Lycaon's palace and cursed him to become a wolf forever. But this is where the curse comes in. In Twilight, the Quileutes are different. They aren't the children of the moon, which is the cursed ones. They are the spirit warriors. This actually connects to a different myth, the Myrmidons. In Greek myth, Zeus turned ants into a race of warriors to help a king. In Twilight, the Quileutes shifted into wolves to protect humans and their tribe. This is a crucial distinction. One is a curse, and one is a choice for protection. When you look at Jacob Black, he's more like a legendary protector than a monster, right? Now, let's talk about the treaty. In the story, the Cullens and the Quileutes signed a treaty that says vampires can stay as long as they never bite a human or cross into Quileute land. This is exactly like the oaths of the river Styx. In Greek mythology, an oath sworn by the Styx was the most binding contract in the universe. Even the gods couldn't break it without terrible consequences. The treaty in Forks is the Styx of the supernatural world. It's the boundary between the dead and the living. Dead as in vampires and living as the Quileutes. Just like the ancient boundary between the upper world and the underworld, if someone crosses it, a war begins. Now, we're leaving the rainy woods of Forks and flying across the Atlantic to Volterra, Italy. In Twilight, this is the home of the Volturi. Most people see them as the villains, but if you look at them through the lens of history, they are something much more specific. They are the ancient Roman Senate that never died. Volterra is one of the oldest living cities in Italy, built by Etruscans before Rome was even a superpower. They have a Triumvirate, 3 leaders, Aro, Caius, and Marcus. This is a 100% match for the first Triumvirate of Rome, Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus. They don't rule by love, they rule by lex, the law. Let's look at Aro, the leader. Aro was born in Greece, and he's the high-score version of Edward's. While Edward can hear what you're thinking right now, Aro can see every thought you've ever had just by touching you. This makes him like the Moirai, or the 3 fates of Greek mythology. In the myths, the fates held the thread of every person's life. They knew your past, your present, and when your thread would be cut. Aro uses his power to judge if a vampire is useful or guilty. If he touches you and decides your thread is over, it's over. He doesn't see people as humans. He sees them as food. So that makes him the biggest difference from Carlyle and his family. He has the cold, calculating mind of a Roman emperor who will sacrifice anyone to keep the empire standing. I have to bring back Tantalus here. While Lycaon is a wolf, Tantalus is the psychological blueprint for the Cullens' biggest struggle. Remember, Tantalus was punished by being stood in a pool of water with fruit hanging over his head. Every time he tried to drink or eat, the water receded and the branch moved away. He was tantalized forever. This is exactly how the Volturi view the Cullens, and how Edward views Bella. Edward is starving for her blood, but he will never have it. He is living in a self-imposed Tartarus. The Volturi find the Cullens' vegetarian lifestyle hilarious sometimes, because to a Roman mind, if you have power, you use it. They think Edward is punishing him like Tantalus for no reason. This creates the man conflict. The Cullens believe in mercy and humanity, and the Volturi believe in absolute power and hunger, the imperial Roman ideal. Now, we have reached the end of the road. We've seen the treaties and the ancient Roman laws, but the biggest takeaway of this entire Twilight and Greek mythology journey is the evolution of Bella Swan. In Greek mythology, the greatest honor a mortal could receive was apotheosis, the moment a human is transformed into a god. Think of Heracles or Psyche. They had to go through impossible trials and pains to earn their immortality. Bella's journey is a modern apotheosis. She starts as a fragile mortal in a world of giants and ends as a shield-bearing immortal who holds the fate of the entire coven in her hands. She didn't just marry a vampire. She ascended to the higher state of being, proving that even the weakest player in the game can be the most powerful if they have the heart of a hero. As I record these final words, the first week of school is ending and the real work is beginning. I'll be honest, it's been a lot, but talking through these myths with you has reminded me why I do this. Stories aren't just things we read to pass the time or hit a book goal. They are mirrors. Whether you're facing a Volturi in your life, someone who tries to control you with rules and fear, or if you're just trying to find your own coven of friends who support you, remember the lessons of Olympus. Stand up for what is right, protect your peace, and never stop running toward your own horizon. The I in the Arial Lycaon stands for I will do for what is right. And I'm taking that principle into every classroom, every music track, and every chapter of this new semester, as well as every episode of this podcast. This concludes our deep dive into the Twilight universe and its ancient roots. And thank you for sticking with me through all of these epic stories. It's been a legendary ride. Stay supreme, stay legendary, and I'll see you in the next myth. My name is Ariel, I'm 11 years old, and I will see you next episode. Bye!